By popular demand, it's the Marksman's bow, a tactic survival scaling bow that gets a 6 times damage critical modifier whenever you hit an enemy at a great distance. Which seems very good, and it is certainly a big hit. It's just we're talking about Dead Cells here, a game where if enemies aren't in huge groups making them difficult to snipe, they have some way of closing the gap between you and them very quickly. So, stuff like the Marksman's bow, I don't know how often I'll be able to actually get the critical most of the time. I mean, we are even talking about 5-cell mode, and that means that enemies are going to be teleporting to me whenever I even try to walk a good distance away from them. At the same time, though, 6 times damage critical modifier is quite a bit, and that might alone be able to take me through the normal part of the game. I'm thinking the major problem with this weapon is going to come in when I'm fighting bosses more than anything else, just because, well, you always have to fight bosses in small rooms, and they usually tend to be pretty fast, and on top of all of that, the most difficult boss of them all, the Hand of the King, is one that can block projectiles. And using a survival scaling bow just means that I am going to be getting a lot of those projectiles blocked with time, so I don't really know exactly how well this is going to work. I got my reservations about this run. To be honest, if I can get to the Hand of the King and at least put up a good fight, I'm gonna call this an episode. But you know, let's not jump to conclusions just yet. We've only started the run here. And with something like maybe some stunning, some freezing, especially if I get the 175% damage on frozen enemies, as well as even just getting a wolf trap. You know, that's normally one of the best survival scaling skills that you can get in the game. I'd like to say that it's going to be extra effective here. I'll at least be able to take down regular enemies no problem at all, and if I'm going up against some enemies that spawn a lot of dudes, like if I did decide to go for the Conjunctivius, probably not. I think that of the choice here, this is going to go best against either the Concierge or very likely the Mama Tick fight. That it's like, I can still do well. I can still be a good fight. I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of problems that I'm already foreseeing, and it's making me worried. Of course, I do always say that survival does have some of the best ranged items in the game. And even though some of them have been nerfed to very nice. Even though some of them have been nerfed to, like, I'm talking about using double boomerangs, if you can manage to make that happen still, it's good, and it's still a solid weapon even in spite of that. Or something like the Nerves of Steel, which, as good as that item is, its minimal amount of ammo doesn't make it something that I want to take most of the time. It still has some really great damage output. I think that's only like a 5 times critical modifier, but that's great, especially for something that does not require you to really range out enemies to use properly. And yes, this is very similar to a lot of other survival scaling weapons that I've talked about before, the sort of skill-based thing, like how well can you mash the attack button when it comes to the bazooki, how well can you get enemies in just the perfect range when it comes to the Valmont's whip. It's the same sort of thing here, but thankfully a lot less touchy. It's just how good of a archer are you, essentially. Can you get enemies at the right distance, and can you keep them at the right distance? And I'm hoping that my over 1,000 hours, coming up on 1,500 hours in Dead Cells, does mean that I'll be able to make it mostly work over the course of the run, but I'm also going to be looking at what I can get for the best mutations, best types of secondary items, everything like that possible, because I'm still thinking I'm going to need a really good run, even if I can manage to get the critical most of the time. I don't know. We'll see. The Marksman's bow it's rough. And unfortunately, I'm not even going to be able to use the mark that is part of its name. No Hokuto's bow this time, unless I decide to go for oh god, I don't even know how I'm going to make this work. And I did. Great! I can't say I'm disappointed. Yeah, no Marksman's bow this time, unless I decide to go tactics, but that's a questionable thing to do with a already kind of slow weapon. Tactics, I mean, you know, besides, Tactics already has this really good stuff. And maybe even more importantly than that, I think one of the things that I'm probably going to be doing this run forward is start expanding the banned items list on top of, you know, just the normal invisibility necklace. Start shoving a couple more items that we see way too often in there. I'm talking the Hokuto's bow. I am talking Rampart. I'm also talking stuff like the magic missile, especially. Maybe more than anything else. Making sure that I'm not taking the magic missile run every single time I'm doing a tactics run, I think is going to make for a little bit better television overall. Don't get me wrong, the magic missile is great, but that's why I have to get rid of it. It cannot be... Oh, I thought I might have seen a secret rune there. No, no such luck as of just yet. It's like there are some things where it's like the invisibility necklace is definitely one of the best things that you can get in the game, but man, you just will very easily have magic missile or ramparts take over whatever run you're doing, which is unfortunate. Yep, that's kind of what I was hoping to have happen when I decided to stick around with a wolf trap for right now. That's the sort of thing that you can two-shot, and this is very early in the game where I only have 9 survival. Two-shotting an elite at this point in time is pretty nice. I'm also thinking about maybe just taking the ice grenade. Ice grenade is good. I mean, and getting that 175% on frozen targets should make it so that I'm taking out elites in one shot, which is the sort of thing that would really start kicking this run into high gear. Again, not against bosses, but hey, at least the first boss that I'm going to be fighting, Mama Tick, is entirely immobile, so she should be very susceptible to these sort of hit-and-run tactics, especially if I can make sure that I'm dodging... reveals invisible enemies. Maybe I can actually use that a little bit. We'll see. Especially if she's just going to be constantly using her poison attack, something that I don't really see too often because I'm usually going up against her with melee stuff. That one is a little bit tricky to dodge, but if you can get the timing down, it should be easy to do a perfect fight, I'm thinking, with this. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, in the meantime, if you got any other items that I should be throwing on the banned list, you know, stuff like you're saying, hey, you use this way too often, like maybe even something like the wolf trap. Wolf trap is something that I do tend to take in a survival run if I happen to have one going on. Or even just like, hey, you should take this more than I have been doing. It's like, I should look at that. Certainly there are going to be showcase runs for pretty much everything, but that doesn't mean that the runs have to be completely uniform otherwise. I think that they should be taking a cosmopolitan sort of approach to it. Trying to find something good even if I am planning to eventually get rid of it later in the run. I mean, how many times have you seen that where I'm just like, drop down already. How many times have you seen that where I'm just like, well, this is not a great item, but I can't get rid of it because this is the run. There is no run if I don't have this item. I mean, there are plenty of items that it's like I could be taking and then just dropping halfway through the run. Making that work. I don't know, I'm just thinking of stuff here because I feel like I've covered a lot of very interesting items right now, so maybe coming up with some extra little... no, that was 56 kills! I was so close to getting an upgrade for something, or at least the money, if nothing else. I can use that because I really want to upgrade this bow a lot too. So like I was talking about with, I want to say the Seismic Strike run, where I'm like, I want to keep on top of whatever the current version of this item is to make absolutely sure that I'm getting the most out of it. There are a lot of runs where you can get by having early game items with really good criticals, maybe even this one included, but that does not mean that I want to do that. Okay, you know what? Let's just go for a parry here. Thinking about like stunning and everything like that, a frozen shield or the cudgel might be a very good addition to this run as well. The money that I'm getting is all right, but after seeing somebody that ran the number after I did the greed shield run a little bit earlier, it seems like it's only very worthwhile for early game because the scaling for the money you're getting does not really compare to the price of late game items. So having it at the start here, good. but I would be looking to switch it out sooner than later. I would also... Enough with the explosive decoys. I feel like that thing is just a slight to myself. The face of that. But anyway, yeah. Maybe something right now? I mean, I would just take like 2... Well, I do have 100% on poison. I should probably keep that for the time being. Piercing is good. Ammo plus is good. This is actually a pretty solid starting item. It's not anything like real blowout, wacky, crazy. Like it's like I've had with a couple items in the past. You know, stuff that inflicts poison at the same time that you also get 100% on poison. But it's definitely a solid choice for the very start here. Ammo management, as always, is going to be a thing. And I do think I'm going to take this, just because I feel like the synergy is going to be a little bit better with the Wolf Trap as opposed to Telluric Shock. Telluric Shock can do some damage, but it's not amazingly good. Yeah, that's what I was talking about there, with enemies being able to close gaps very well. Those runners are fast, as their name would imply. Well, you know, I didn't really think about that sentence before I said it, and then it just... It's like, really now? The runner enemy is fast. Anyway. Let's get back up here. I'm not going to be able to get the 60 kills, but I can at least get that last fragment, and... maybe the gem there if I really feel like it. I do want the money, but I also... I don't know. Do I really want to go out of my way just to get that singular little piece of extra cashola? I don't think it's worth it. The cashish can wait until next time. Aside from that, though, I think that I'm going to... Yeah, I already got the teleport opened up and everything. It should also, with the whole idea of outranging enemies, be easy to take down dudes to get curses relieved. Maybe. Maybe. Because this is not something that is enforced by the distance is not something that is enforced by the weapon itself. It is something that's... yeah. It is something that is enforced by yourself. Hence the whole skill part of a skill-based weapon. So I don't know. If enemies get up close to me, that might just be me panicking and dying because of it. I'm going to keep this around here. There is like a little area that you can shove your homunculus rune through if you want to grab that item again before leaving. And then if, you know, I'm really hurting, I can just chow down on a little bit of blood. Good. Good start. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's hard to also... You don't really get any sort of indication. This isn't like the flawless school of skill-based weaponry where it will explicitly tell you if you are flawed. Well, that was not exactly where I wanted to go, but I did manage to hit something anyway. Cool. Yeah, let's just let the Crusher there take care of it. It's a good friend if you can actually get it to work for you, doing stunning and a lot of damage, but actually getting it to work for you is sometimes a bit difficult. Good, good, good. Definitely want to make sure that I'm careful around the lacerators, because as you know, in the parlance of Dead Cells, spinning equals... That's not far enough? Okay, come on now. Spinning equals projectile repulsion, and if I do not kill them by the time that they start spinning, I have to clear out of there or, you know, make peace with my god. Which is going to be tough considering how much they hate me after all of the curses that I've gotten. They're really not too friendly to me at this point. I don't blame them considering the lore of the game, though. This is... That should do it, though. Okay, good. Of course, like, large groups of enemies, like I was saying, gonna be an issue. That's not going to be something alleviated anytime soon as well. Yeah, the slashers with their dashes and everything. It is... this is gonna be rough. Okay, I'm gonna activate you, and then we're gonna get you to come up here. Wolf Trap, and 3, 4, 5. The damage is not scaling as well as I'd like it to. Well, that's what I'm talking about, where I'm gonna be saving up to get the money to make that work for me anyway. Good and... good. Now, if the Crusher can just take those things out, or whatever, that works too. I don't know. It's like I'm still... Maybe this is going to be one of those items that really scales well late game, too. Because 6 times damage does mean that when I do have, like, a ton of stuff, I'll be able to one-shot things easily. But, you know, the other thing with having, like, real high damage types of... Get down here. Get into the wolf trap, please. And... yeah, getting like real high damage stuff. The problem becomes that the real high damage can also backfire on you because bosses can only take X amount of their. Do I want that? I just rather want this. It's a lot of extra arrows and extra critical damage. I don't know. I'll see when I actually get the money to afford it. But anyway, yes, the. Nope, I forgot what I was saying. Oh well, it's gone. Don't worry about it. One more and done. Yeah, oh, wait, yeah. Bosses can only take so much of a percentage of their hit points, 5 and then 3 for the Timekeeper, I believe. Those might be outdated numbers. In fact, I'm pretty sure those are outdated numbers. Don't listen to me. But they can only take so much percentage of their health in a single hit, so even if you do have some real incredible damage, you can't use it too well, barring the final 5 boss self-fight, where after you get to the final phase, you can do as much damage as you want. I still have people getting amazed at the, like, what was it, 2-3 million damage that I got on the final hit during the Scytheclaw run? Ah, what a good weapon. You know, talking about stuff that has range but very little downsides aside from how slow it is, Scytheclaw still remains such a good... Okay, and that should take much. All right, Scytheclaw still remains such a good item. It's like, I'm still surprised. I was thinking that it's like, you know, maybe when the honeymoon's over, I'm not going to be too impressed with it. Nope, I'm still very impressed by that weapon. And whenever I get a chance to use it, it's usually a pretty good run. It's always one of those things where, you know, hubris can immediately result in your untimely death. But as long as you keep that in check, you usually tend to be still doing pretty good. At least in my experience. I don't know. 1,500 hours of Dead Cells. That's always the sort of thing that I say when it's like, it's hard for me to judge the quality of weapons because, yeah, I know he had like 1 hit point left. I still wanted to see him get killed by the Crusher for my own catharsis. But yeah, you know, 1,500 hours of Dead Cells. It's always kind of difficult to actually judge how good something is versus if something is just good if you played 1,500 hours of Dead Cells. It's something that I struggle with every day of my life. Yeah. So, not too much left to do here. Nothing good for colorless items yet, and I guess I'll go back and probably sell that then, because this is the end right now. Yep. And do I just want to go take you? Maybe Giant Whistle would be another one of those verboten items to be thrown on the pile, because that is... oh, it's very good. It is very good, and it's very good at taking out enemies that are otherwise very difficult to take out. You know, I'm talking stuff like if you have... it is a delete enemy button. Remove enemy from playing field right now. No questions asked. And because of that, it usually manages to find its way into my build in one way or another. It's just great. It covers a lot of the issues that you have with... Let's actually just take this for the extra stats. It covers a lot of the issues that you're going to have with the basic types of survival runs that you do. It's just how it goes. But that's also why I should probably start using it less, just to make sure that I'm not to get that variety. Get that crazy cool freshness. I mean, come on. A variety is the spice of life, as you know. Dead inside, yeah. I mean, I'm still worried about health. I'm worried about malaise, and that's a great way to do that, especially combined with the necromancy mutation. I don't think that they have had those hanging things in the background up to this point. All right, get over here. This should be a nice, easy mini tick boss fight, if nothing else. Or mini boss tick fight. Huh. You could kind of call it both. That was a good parry. Anyway, not so good of a landing, but I did my best. This is also going to be a very difficult area to deal with this item. I mean, I'm still thinking that the... oh, boy. I'm still thinking that the boss is going to go great, but, man, this area itself, though, is teleporting enemies that are very mobile. Tons of enemies at the same time. If I could get something like... Yeah, that's not... and that didn't even do it anyway. That did it, though. This is a lot of tricksy hobbits going on here. Good, and take that thing out. Take that thing out. I mean, I just got to do my own sniping of enemies here. That's the real plan, after all. That's a rampart. He's just saying that it's like, I can't take a rampart because it's too dang good. Well, get out of here, you. I can't do it. The rampart is one of those things that it is unequivocally the best shield in the game, so it works well in survival runs. And I believe I did explicitly turn it off for this run because I was planning to, you know, start practicing what I preached immediately, but it managed to find its way in here anyway through the magic of legendary items, which can be anything even if you don't have them active, even if you haven't had them unlocked in the game before. Which is great, but also, like, you know, it is sort of frustrating when I see that and I'm like, I can't use it. I can't do it, man. That just ain't how this run is going. Well, anyway, I guess now that I have a little bit of an upgrade, it's not like a super huge one just yet, but it is a decent version of this shield that I have going on right now. What I am going to be doing is probably focusing on getting a different shield next, in one way or another. I'm glad that the hitbox for the... It's not take it right now. I'm glad that the hitbox for the slasher did not kill me there. By the way, just, you know, in case you were wondering my opinion on that subject. Okay, anybody else? I think we're good. This is still going to be very difficult to deal with. Okay, you know what? This is exactly what I'm talking about right now. They're stunning here. It's overall a pretty decent shield. Yeah, no, this is it is of appropriate biome difficulty. Okay, that's just you. Once again, I do have my own sniping abilities, so that works out well for me. Come on, I can see him very easily. You can't. Let's not fight the elite. Let us not fight the elite. And then... Yeah, okay. Let's not fight the elite and then live to see another day. Anybody else? Anybody else? Sniping does go pretty far. I mean, being a 2D game, it's like this is not your... this is not like a 3D game sort of sniping where you can really see off into the distance. Which is unfortunate, but hey, that's not really too much I can do about it after all. So... you can only hit like things slightly off screen, and that's about it. Now, I'm going to have any enemies teleporting here. I am going to have enemies getting punched by the Giant's Fist, because that's the lifestyle that I lead. That I lead. And that's going to be kind of the plan for right now to not die. My ingenious 5-step plan to not die. Number 1, punch things with a Giant Fist. 2, not die. I know, I'm brilliant. What are the other 3? I don't know. I'll just go take a nap or something. I got the time. Hey, there's 60 kills. Good. Look, sometimes you think you need more steps to an algorithm, to any sort of process, than you actually do. It's called being a good programmer. Making things more efficient like that. This might be an issue because I am now aggroing a lot of enemies. Like, oh boy, there's so many enemies. Also, wait, this is the end, right here. Huh. I guess they made this area smaller. Not that I'm going to argue. And there's that stun, and didn't even need that. You know, I'm not going to argue because, oh boy, the morass is a biggin. Is a biggin otherwise. It could also just be weird generation, too. You never really know how that goes. This is not the 5-cell area, which I always say synonymous with janky generation, but it's maybe with how they've changed it up in this, the latest update, which is called the Bestiary update, if I remembered it correctly. We got a little bit of an overhaul of this part. Perhaps, perhaps not. You know what? I am going to take it. The 75% damage reduction is probably going to be useful because the Mama Tick is going to largely be hitting me with a bunch of ranged attacks right now. So I might as well get some sort of defense against that, even if it's not going to defend me against the melees, which is kind of the more important bit. It will help prevent me from dying in an embarrassingly stupid way, as I have done before when I go up against a boss being all like, I can be at like 10% health, it's fine. And then I die. Which is unfortunate, but also not uncommon. That's the two uns that I would use to describe it. All right, 107, and I've gotten hit like 2 times over the course of this entire area, which has been pretty good for me. No, I think it might just be like a one-time sort of generation thing. Walk into that wolf trap and meet your demise. Excellent. I also don't know if I just got lucky there or if they've now made it so that those large ticks always drop something. I like that idea, though. I'm fine with it. They're mini-bosses. They are some pretty tough enemies for not getting, like, rewards for fighting. I mean, I suppose your reward is to continue on with the game, but you know what I mean. And the real thing going on here is the... What's this now? Oh, a nice item, but obviously, you know, not really something that works well with a run. Where are all my, like, heavy turrets or anything right now? I could really use that. And getting lucky with those as well. Sure. For the extra health, really. I mean, that's probably as good as having a huge amount of damage reduction on projectiles. So, why not? Good. And 1, 2, 5 more enemies. Should be able to take them out pretty quick. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. Anything else I want to take right now? Maybe? Perhaps. I mean, the whole, like, stunning and everything is kind of being covered. No, I don't have... For some reason, I thought my wolf trap had release a toxic cloud on deployment. It has it when an enemy dies, which is not the same thing. Yes. I think that the AoE, the lack of AoE in this build is a problem. So this will go a long way to helping that out. Now let's go fight that elite. Why not? I know there's one up here, and I know there's one ready for me to go school in the ways of dying. And then I did. And it was good. Well, there, gold as well as a cell and 75% damage reduction. I'd say this has been a good haul of items. I should probably go check over here first, though. There's no reason not to. And there was nothing anyway, so into the nest. Into the nest. Yeah, I do have lore rooms turned off right now because during the alpha, the morass was having some issues with that, so I will probably turn that back on soon enough. Because I do like... oh, which one do I want to... Anyway. That's not one to be taken right now, as you know. As you know. As we are all more than aware of. I couldn't even possibly slightly justify taking that. Alright, let's see if this item lives up to... Protectress? Let's see if this item lives up to what I'm hoping it will. Certainly against the first phase, it'll be fine. Now, I am worried about ammo management, as I said before, because that is, as you know, a problem with any sort of weapon that has ammo. Hey, you're gonna hit way farther than I would have thought. There you go. Nope, I'm still not very good at this fight, as it turns out. I know, wacky crazy, huh? Well, no, I need to get at least some distance here. But yeah, what you want to do is you don't want to roll on the ground. What you want to do is you want to roll in the air. At least that's what I have seen thus far. And just keep on rolling here. Because that's the only thing you can do in this fight. Okay. Now. Well then. Like I said, still not very good at this fight. Should be just about done, though. Yeah, I guess ammo is not as bad of a thing as I thought it was going to be. And, you know, at the end here, I was kind of starting to get it, but, you know, a bad start there meant that I still took quite a bit of malaise and damage. Not enough to make it a really big deal, but it's an unfortunate occurrence nonetheless. All right, some good brutality stuff, but not really, not the run. And then Graveyard. Graveyard is going to be another area that's kind of rough and tough to take on. So I am a little bit hesitant about it, but maybe I can finally... Okay. That is lowering my damage a lot, though. And it's not like the poison is really synergizing with anything except for the powerful grenade right now, so... Yeah, you know what? There we go. Wait, hold up right now. 100% damage to target covered in burning oil. That's new. Oh, man. Ah, fire synergy's back, baby. Look forward to the pyrotechnics run next time, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to promise anything. You know what? I'm not going to promise anything. Look forward, actually, to the Cursed Sword run next time, because that definitely won't happen. Okay, that is good to know. I know that they added a bunch of new affixes in the Bestiary update here. I did not realize that was one of them. And that makes a big difference in my mind. Yes. I mean, of course, as you know, back in the day, well, as you know, it's actually been quite a while since this was changed up, but it used to be that it was 50% on poison, 30% on bleed, and 100% on fire. So suddenly getting 100%, yeah. So suddenly getting like a pyrotechnics or whatever, which, you know, got you double extra damage already for getting enemies oiled up, meant that it was very trivial to have a bunch of turrets that existed purely to get 100% on fire, as well as the fact that it did like 2 times damage for enemies that were covered in oil. It was very, very good. And that's something that could be good here as well. Now, do I want to take this instead? I mean, I do like freezing, but... And I do like bleed synergy, but I don't really have bleed synergy on what I'm looking at right now. It's mostly going for oil. If I can get some oil, that'd be good. Then try to make that one work for me. Knocking back shield is also an interesting idea, and freezes enemies blocked with a parry would kind of give it the same sort of functionality as that previous shield. But, you know, the whole, like, knockback is not going to be that useful. Enemies getting knocked back just means that they'll immediately close the gap again. At least for some of the more frustrating enemies that I'm going to be fighting. Ooh, these rats are kind of making it rough to use this weapon to its fullest potential right now. That said, they have a minimal enough amount of health to go down quickly and without issue, even at close range. No, it's looking all right. To be honest, though, the major worry that I have right now is that God, what am I even thinking of? I forgot. Well, I guess I have no worries, as it turns out. I searched my brain and I couldn't find anything. So anyway, curses are still going to be kind of an issue coming up here, though, because, as always, you got rid of my very good kill streak, which frustrates me to no end. Well, anyway. The catcher being trapped there is not going to do me all that much good. Oh, this is just open permanently now? Good. I mean, I did notice that was true in the promenade, but I guess that's true for everything that has keys now, making it so that you don't need to do the whole rigmarole every single time that you want to get into one of these extra areas just for like a little bit of extra gold or maybe a decent item. I hope that also means like the Moonflower key in the Toxic Cloud when you take damage. Worth it? Nah. Maybe with the Moonflower key that also makes it worth finally going into that one area in the castle again. Because that was a very frustrating... It was a very frustrating quest to do in the first place, and I can't imagine getting in there just to get a couple extra items is ever even crossed my mind as being slightly worth it. Yeah. I don't know. In the meantime, this is going okay, but like I said, I'm mostly worried about getting into the... I'm mostly worried about dying when I get a curse. Because the other thing that I was trying to think of, I cannot remember anymore. Oh, well. This is also the point in time in the episode where kind of... Like, the weapon should really be starting to show its stuff, and I feel like it is. I'm gonna be honest, though. I don't feel like I'm getting enough out of this that it's like, oh, man, this is gonna be a 100% take from this point. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's good. It's good if you can get it to work for you. Unless I see a particularly overpowered version of it, or I already had taken, like, the double ammo mutation or something like that. I don't know if it's, I don't know. I shouldn't have gotten hit there. That was my bad. Anyway. Cudgel, though. Well, there's that poison, but... I mean, I guess, you know, looking at it, I do actually have inflammable oil on the Thunder Shield, and I do have flames on the Marksman's bow. That's gonna be the combo, I think. At least for tough enemies. For right now, I'm just going to be continuing to shoot at enemies normally, as one does when they have this bow. And hope that I am getting the critical. Because it's very hard, because like I said, it is very hard to tell if you are getting the critical sometimes. That bomb was not quite on the cooldown that I thought it was. That was, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Couldn't tell if that was enough or not. Messed up the parry, unfortunately. Oh, and now here, the infected zombies, I mean, I do have pierce enemy. It does pierce the first target, so I should be okay to fight these guys, but I'm still a little bit worried about the biters afterwards. Much like when I was going up against the hammers, those things can be a little bit tough to deal with because of their secondary dudes that they're putting on there, not even the primary guys. Yeah, I mean, I am starting to take a little bit more damage due to the whole curse of survival, but it is still going okay otherwise. There's also a food shop in here. There's also a cursed chest. I'm going to go find an enemy with I'm going to go find an area with enough enemies to kill, and then have that be the... And then I'm going to take that chest. Taking it right now would lead me into, like, this sort of area while being cursed, which I definitely do not want to happen. You know how badly I choke when the stakes are high, after all. That's why I don't want to put myself at more risk than necessary. This is also not a time to be grabbing the cursed chest. Maybe after this? Maybe. Okay, here we go. A little bit of extra actual, like... Would this work? I don't know. Oh, I did actually hit him there. Oh, that was actually enough damage to take out the rats, which is kind of amusing. I'm going to get another area just in case things start to look bad over there. But, oh no, I've ran out of rats to kill or whatever. I need to go find some other place with easy enemies and then, you know, make that my, my curse relief station. Some rats. Rats, they are the rats. And another chest down here, not cursed. Don't get me wrong, cursed chests might be cursed, but they are also a blessing at the same time. And those extra stats do go a long way to making a good run, And the extra... Well, actually, I guess they're not extra anymore now that they've redone the stat distribution areas, but the colorless items can be pretty amazing as well. Flashing fans, I think it could potentially be something to replace this, but it would replace the bow, which does not in the cards right now. In the meantime, let's just go right over here and start working on the masses that I left specifically to heal me. Anything? Anything at all? Just that. Really? Just that? Okay, I'm just gonna swoosh on down here, do that. Same sort of basic combo for the rest of these areas. Anything else? Anything? Okay, that actually works out well for me. And then, yeah, like I said. Shame combo. Okay. I think I should be able to, especially with just a couple basic flying enemies over here, just do this, that, and done. Ah, that could have been an issue if I went in there a little bit early, though. I didn't even notice that. I've said before that I do have, like, a complete inability to see those dumb cloaking type of graphical stuff, you know, where the enemies sort of blur the screen in front of them. Made Metal Gear Solid 4 when you're fighting Laughing Octopus just embarrassing. Thankfully, I did not have a channel back then, so you're never going to know. Unless you listen to what I just said. But what are the chances of that? 2 times damage? Actually a little bit tempting, but not one I'm going to be taking. And if you're thinking that I'm even going to touch the cavern at this point, you are sorely mistaken. That was never going to be a thing. The giant's hands are going to eat ammo and me for breakfast if I do that. Because that's also, it is very frustrating to try to outrange that sort of enemy when I'm fighting them. I'd probably do okay in the cavern itself, but even then, there's, you know, I do think that I'm still gonna have the same troubles with fighting arbiters as I always do, and the ground shakers are completely invincible when they have their back to you. No, much like a lot of other series on the channel, I'm not going to deal with the hardest area in the game, the cavern, once again. That's Undermine or the Witness, I guess. Yeah, the cavern in the Witness was actually the hardest area in there, wasn't it? What a time that was, too. Oh, I couldn't quite get the stun here. Oh, well, not that it really matters. Everything is getting taken out well regardless. And then one of you to top me off, putting me back at, you know, basically run starting levels of health and everything. And I'm looking good. I'm actually looking quite good. Okay. Sepulcher is the only other option, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would probably go take on the other area that I forgot the name of. Block Tower. Unfortunately, that one elite. I'm getting so close to getting I'm getting so close to getting into the 60 kill doors, but I keep getting thwarted every single turn. It is quite unfortunate. Oh well. Just one area left, one more curse to do, and I should at least be looking good to finish the run. Happy about that. Okay. This is not a very good area going up against snipers as a sniper myself here. Sniper battles do go in my favor, but it is still a worrying thing nonetheless. Okay, and one more, and one more. And yeah, this weird warrior did not even pay attention. Oh yeah, I shouldn't forget that these guys do apparently block shots as well. And being that this is very slow, I'm not going to be able to just blast them down enough to make it work. Problems arise. I do like this marksman's bow, though. That's a lot of damage, and I get the poison and everything. If I do manage to get poison on something, I think that just re-rolling my wolf trap a couple times could make that happen. It's something to think about. It is something to consider. Make sure I get door advantage. Since I can't quite get the range here, let's just do this, I guess. Sure, sure. Gold as well as sell. At the cost of survival, I'm still kind of lowish on survival right now. I'm gonna keep it good. I was hoping that zombie, or the corpulent zombie, did not see me, and he did not. Yeah, just keep it safe. Keep it simple, keep it safe. And with that stun there, and with the bomb, because that didn't work out as well as I was hoping it would. Whoops. I at least cleared out that area easy enough. Should just save that area for like the curse relief when I took the curse chest in this place, because that would have been an easy place to just throw one bomb in and take everything out. At least for the time being. I don't know. I don't know. All right. That's not good enough. That is good enough. There's a lot of more snipers. There's a lot more range. There's a lot more invisible enemies, as well as things that are just going to be countering a lot of this. If I don't have my bomb up, I'm not going to be in a good position for taking out some of the more difficult enemies to face. And that's something to remember when it comes to taking... Yeah, so close. And that's something to remember when it comes to taking the... Well, this is not good at all. Good. I was hoping he was just going to belly flop in the spikes. Welcome to the world of me doing that all the time. Oh, well, that worked at least. All right, so I need 100,000 to get to the next upgrade of Marksman's bow, if I so choose. That's something that is possible. I think that is a plausible thing to think could happen here. But we'll see. I don't know. Really, I should just focus on trying to find it. Yeah, and there it is. And anything. Just some extra money, which, like I said, I can use, but I'm not too worried about it for the time being. Oof. That is... Oh, no. I am going to start... Yeah, good. Well, I'm going to take out the elite... Yeah, I can't even use that. I'm going to take out the elite over there, and then hopefully it's going to be okay. I'm thinking it's probably going to be okay. Yes, and nothing I really want, but hey, there's some more oil if I feel like it. And there's the area that I'm going to be taking care of the curse. No question. That should be easy as long as I get up there, get every enemy around me, and then throw down a singular bomb to kind of finish them off. Easy. Money. Easy money. And where is everything? You know what? I'm just going to take the cursed chest right now. I don't even care. Ah, root grenade. Root grenade obviously does have a little bit of freezing, but not good enough. Like, you got to get a little bit better than that before you come talking to me. Okay. Doop. And maybe I won't even need to go into the... Yeah, actually, I don't need to go into the next... Yeah. Okay, good. Just before he started to shoot at me, and I accidentally, like, ground pounded myself into the shot. That was a real possibility there if I waited even a second longer. But yeah, there you go. Last curse of the game taken care of, and I'm feeling pretty good. Worth it? No, I need that bomb for extra damage, because that's the thing that's supporting the slowness and the enemies that counter my projectiles. So I cannot possibly get rid of that right now. But yeah, this is what it would otherwise look like if I was going to go for the alternate strategy, if I had a couple more enemies to kill. There was certainly enough here that even with the stuff that's going on, I would have been totally fine. Even with the weirded warriors that are kind of countering my stuff. I am going to have to make sure that I do go and get a other scroll fragment that I left behind earlier. Because that is an important thing. Good. And one more. Can I get the 60 kills before losing it this time? Hooray, I did it. I'm not entirely incompetent. Just mostly. Good, good. And you know what? This is about the point in time to do this. Yeah. Wait a second. Take out a huge group of enemies just like that. And that's the only thing you can possibly expect. All right, final key. And I don't know how it's going to go up against the Timekeeper, but I'm feeling confident. I have a shield. Shields are, in general, pretty good at countering the most annoying part of her, which is the shuriken throwing. It's just... She also does like to keep away from you as part of the fight, which makes it frustrating for melee survival weapons. Maybe not so much with this one. Maybe this one is she's just going to be running directly into my shots most of the time, and I'll be able to take her down real quick. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities here, but only one answer. And that can only be found when I actually get into the fight. And which will probably be right now. All right. Let's go. Smoke bomb there. That's a sort of invincibility that is not tremendously overpowered. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. And yeah, that actually worked out okay. Despite everything. One more little bit of malaise cure. And yeah, this is totally fine. Oh yeah, especially I should be going for the parry when it comes to going up against the Timekeeper to make sure that I get that sweet, sweet oil and fire synergy going on. I mean, it's, there's some stuff happening here. So yeah, I mean, it's, I wouldn't count me out just yet. I'm still unsure about the Hand of the King. I think the Hand of the King is still going to be the real test of this weapon. I'm probably going to be reserving my final judgments on everything until that point. All right. What do we got? Okay, like I said, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna see what starts to happen here. Ain't bad. No, I didn't quite get the parry there, but this is going well. I mean, certainly that 100% on fire, oiled up enemies is good. That also really does, you know, lend itself to a lot of extra just general usage for... Okay, perfect fight. That also really does lend itself for a lot of, you know, oil usages outside of damage over time runs, which are good, but, you know, they're not like the most... they're a very specific type of run. 5 seconds after killing an enemy. I wonder if this thing can get that. Torch would be an interesting thing to look at. Well, that would be a very fun item to take right now, but yes. So yeah, I break in recording. Give me 1 second. What was that? Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm back. Ready to do this. Also cracked open a nice well, I got a nice Red Bull to crack open too, which is something that I have not had for a while. I've actually been off of caffeine for the past few weeks. So why not celebrate by getting 3 whole energy drinks and downing them right now and dying from a heart attack? He went out doing what he loved. Playing video games and drinking caffeine. Oh well. Look, it's just a one-time thing. If you're wondering, it is, of course, a Monster Energy drink because my name is Kyle. As you do. Oh, come on now. These, yeah, speaking of enemies that are very, very aggressive when it comes to blocking projectiles, these Royal Guards are going to be very frustrating coming up here. And I am not a huge fan of dealing with them on a normal day, but with a slow ranged weapon, it's going to be even worse. That said, everything else should go down pretty easily, but that's kind of been true for the rest of the run as well. It's been surprisingly... I guess I'll admit it right now. I am liking this weapon a lot more than I thought I would. because I never really thought too much of it. I mean, I always knew that, hey, it could be a quality weapon if given the right circumstances, but especially when they started to introduce enemies. Ooh, inflammable oil and everything. You know what? I think that I am going to actually take this. Yeah, once they started introducing, like, teleporting enemies and everything, it was just very... It felt like I just couldn't really use it as much as I did at one point in time. Even though way back in the day, it was something that managed to get me through the elite-only mod that existed even before modding was properly introduced into the game. Yeah, that Alla was a real wizard when it came to creating a bunch of pretty cool stuff out of Dead Cells. I mean, it makes me feel kind of bad that I'm not really getting too much more for Corrupted Edition updates anymore. But at the same time, I can understand that, especially now that some of that stuff has been incorporated into the game proper, like the corrupted confinements all the way back in... Take you out? Like the corrupt confinements in the sewers now. Ugh. Well, it's not even so much fighting the Royal Guard, it's the fact that he knows where I am, so... He's going to be... Okay, that works too. Very aggressive, at least until he accidentally falls off the edge and dies. Again, much like the corpulent zombies that I saw before, sometimes having enemies get killed to the things that I get killed by is just that right amount of catharsis. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I should be able to get all 3 keys here because, like I said, it's not quite one shot, one kill, but getting pretty close. And I don't think it's going to be too difficult to... Oh, come on. I don't think it's going to be too difficult to at least take out the regular enemies. And extra stats means extra killing power, which I'm going to really be trying to... Oh, I've had the error happen again. Except it's different this time. Now I just have completely black face rather than no face, which in some ways is not all that much different. I think it has something to do with, like, going into the... like, the mini-boss fights in the Sepulchre, because I don't even... Yep, no, it just... Sure, why not? Now, this stream's sponsored by Anonymous, I guess. Stream? What am I even talking about? It's not a stream, this is all pre-recorded. That's right, that's how I do all of these episodes. Well, this is all just a bunch of nonsense. Blame the caffeine that I'm intaking right now. Also got one of the Starbucks double shot things, because it's been a while since I've had coffee. And I was talking about that in one of the last Crosscode episodes that I did, and I decided, you know what? I'll give her a try. It's okay. I would rather have a regular mocha, if I'm being honest. My caffeine of choice. I mean, aside from that, the only reason I really have monster stuff more often than not is because because the basement that they intern me in at work has that in the vending machine they got there. So, you know, hey, if I'm going to have anything, I'm going to have the one that is very easily available to me. Because otherwise I'd have to, like, oh, come on now. Otherwise I'd have to, like, wake up early and, you know, actually go to a gas station or something and buy stuff. A cursed sword. Okay, now the head's gone again. I guess it just kind of gave up the ghost after... It's like, you know, why go for one error when you can go for all of the errors? What a goofy glitch. No, anyway, if anybody actually knows how that is caused, I'd be interested so I can try to get it for the entire run, every single time. I always like exploiting a bunch of weirdo glitches that happen in Dead Cells. Like back in the day, it used to be when you walked into a door that you... how to even describe this? What would happen is that you would, if you jumped while you were entering a door, what would instead happen is that you would start flying backwards at incredible speeds. It was very amusing. I'm sure if you go find one of the old, nearly unwatchable episodes of Dead Cells, you can go see that. But I think that part alone was pretty worth it. It was, what did I call it? Mega Man style of entering doors. where you always got to jump to open up, to get into the shutters, because that's the proper way to do it. Nobody just walks through those doors. It's much more fun this way. All right, there's at least one more. Yeah, you can see my head appear very briefly, and then it's gone. And that's Dead Cells for you. Or when you had like the flying rampages. That was also a pretty good glitch. In some ways, disappointing they took it out of the game because it did make rampagers easier in some ways, but it made for some good times nonetheless. Do I want a punishment? Well, I'll see if that punishment happens to give me oil. Stunning is not extremely effective against characters like the Hand of the King, but punishment is at least going to give me a lot of extra damage. I think it's worth taking, which is why I'm going to do exactly that. All right, well, let's get going. I'm not even going to bother looking around the rest of the area. It's fine. Look, I'm doing okay for stats and everything right now. I don't really need to worry too much about trying to fully optimize this run. I think I'm about as prepared as I need to be for completing this. Hopefully. I am still really thinking that the Hand of the King might completely shut this thing down before I can even get to the 5-cell area. I do have 4 potion charges. Ugh. That still wasn't even enough to give me the... Gah. Well, oh. And looks like I'm going to be utilizing that potion charge right now. Yeah, this is basically about what I was expecting to have happen. The small arena and the largesse of this man's whole deal is... Okay, that hit me a second time. Cool, cool, cool. Yep, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was going to happen like that, too.